ladies and gentlemen, Nisambula Vinaka, and a very good afternoon to you all. Indeed, it's a very good afternoon when we see partners coming together for the empowerment and betterment of lives, especially when it comes to our women. Before I begin with today's event, I'd just like to say thank you very much to everybody who's contributed to where we are today in terms of opening up, relaxation of the restrictions, and especially opening up of the local and international borders. What COVID did to us, we had never imagined, but it was the resilience and solidarity of our people that has brought us to where we are. It's good to see businesses opening up. It's good to see people moving around. It's good to see a lot of things happening which is going to take us back to where we were pre-COVID, sort of normalcy in our life. And so I must say thank you very much to everybody who has been part of this journey. It was not easy, actually, first time for us to experience this level of restrictions. But throw anything to us and we will deal with it. I think that's how resilient we are. Ladies and gentlemen, if I can just pick up a few things from Anil's speech, and that's about how resilient businesses were. And I think one of the good things about Quartz, from my personal experience, is we can rely on your products. We can rely on customer satisfaction. I think you're one of the best staff. And to the staff, thank you for staying by with the company and having trust in your company and allowing us to see the day to day. Product reliability, I mean, I've been with Quartz all my life. Even when I was a civil servant, I always look for an opportunity to change some things in my home. But over the years, because they remain so good, don't feel like changing it. But anyways, businesses are headed towards the right direction. And I thank you for your trust. I thank you for your confidence in the economy, and I'm sure you will be part of the Fijian economy for decades to come, and I wish you the very best. And I've been so tired. Sorry, with Diwali coming along next week, I'm sure your business would be boosted, and people will come and take advantage of your great bargains and promotions going on. Diwali may not be the same today as it used to be in the previous years due to hardships that our people still face. People still face the hardships. We cannot ignore the fact. People are still reeling from the effects of COVID-19 when we were under lockdown. It'll take us time to move out of that. But whatever it may be, let us hope that this Diwali brings us much joy and much prosperity and much needed good luck in our lives. So thank you for that. So now let me go to that. Invited guests, executives of Quartz Fiji and the South Pacific Business Development. Thank you. MC, thank you very much for the garland, and it is my pleasure to join you all here this very beautiful afternoon to renew your long-term partnership between Quartz and SPBD. Lorraine, it's good to see you too, and it's a pleasure to meet you, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, this partnership initially started in April of 2012 with the sewing machine initiatives. If you follow the ministry's work over the last 10 years or so, you will see one of the things that we work towards in trying to empower our women, especially rural women, is through sewing machine initiative, because we believe that they would be able to be financially dependent with the skills that is being taught to them, with the monitoring that is being done, and by provision of a tool. It's very important. It's not just talking about things. We must ensure that the people are provided with the right tools and training to ensure that it impacts their lives. And in Fiji, when we reach out to rural communities, we see that women need tools like this. And this was an initiative that started in 2012, and that's a sewing machine initiative. And I still carry it to date today. When I see somebody who really needs an assistance, we try to see. And we have our director women here, her and her team, continue to work with the women. And also, Quartz became a party to that in 2012. So together, grassroots villages and communities and women's groups were engaged to be part of this initiative. So what would happen is 10 women in a community would get together and come to Quartz to buy 10 machines. And then from the Quartz side, they would be given one machine each to the community. So this partnership has been quite a long-term one. And of course, with that came the sewing demonstration, the repair and the maintenance work, workshops organized and conducted by Quartz. And of course, financial literacy was one important part of that. You can give a tool to somebody, but if you do not have the necessary skills to manage your income, etc., then it becomes a failed project. Okay, and I must say that apart from these projects, the ministry has handed over so many sewing machines that were actually supported by the government of India, and this started again in 2012 and carried on till I think today. Now we have seized it a bit, right? And so what Quartz engaged local and overseas trainers to train members of this women's group, the skill training, and that's where we are grateful for. Machine maintenance, and like I said, financial literacy. 43 workshops were held, and 1,169 women were trained. Now, can you imagine the impact this 1,169 women would have not only on their families, but also in the communities that they are with? And we are actually very appreciative of that. And Quartz came on board with overseas trainers for a 6-day workshop in Suva and Nendi, where we had about 152 participants that took place. So that's quite a positive way to go forward. And in the second stage of this thing that we are talking about today, in an effort to further, or should I say, strengthen the economic capabilities of our rural women, the ministry saw the opportunity of introducing SPBD, I've been saying so many words, I'm just lost of words, sorry, and Quartz, and a tripartite partnership was formed to provide access to the unemployed women, particularly again in rural areas. You will see that we focus a lot on rural areas because we feel there's a lot of work that still needs to be done in reaching out to these women. It's very difficult. Urban centers and town areas, they have a lot of services available that our urban women can have access to. But when we travel to the rural areas, the deep rural areas or the deep maritime areas, which take hours for us to go from here, and then we see what opportunities needs to be given to these women. So this kind of partnerships works very well with that. And so rural women to purchase equipment aside from sewing machines. Women don't only need sewing machines, they need other things that other women have, like the white good, right? So ovens, refrigerators, and the rest of the stuff. So in partnership with Quartz, as a value addition, SPBD launched a new loan product called the White Goods and Renewable Energy Equipment Financing Program. Of course, women need finances. They need access to loan. And then they need to have the power to repay those loans as well. So when we train them with whatever products that they want, and it gives them an avenue to sort of sustain their loan and progress further. And we are grateful for that. So this loan scheme, ladies and gentlemen, entitles women to acquire home improvement products from Quartz at a very special price. And I hope this new agreement will give them even a special price, more special than that. So, so apart from supporting empowerment of women, apart from supporting income-generating projects, apart from supporting financial independence, we are also supporting women through financial education and efforts by sponsoring financial booklets, which provide useful tips on how to manage their business and household finances. I'll give you a small example of what we did in a small scale. We used to put our street women who used to beg on the streets, and we started in 2015 when I was there. We used to give them market stalls. I mean, because they were not educated and because they could not just find a job anyhow. So we had a quota system in the supermarket. We started here. So we gave them market. We started with seed funding. Then Westpac took them through financial training as well. But unfortunately, it's habit. Sometimes it doesn't sink in you. If you've done something like, if you've been begging and begging and begging, it takes a lot of effort, I'm telling you. It takes a lot of effort to get these people who beg out of the streets, even if you provide them with things. So unfortunately, it did not go long because the women who everything I would give them, they'll sell, and they wouldn't want to put aside money for the next buy, and it failed. But we still have to do it. We still have to continue with our efforts to empower women. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's very encouraging to note that this is the 8th year that this exclusive partnership is being entered into by Quartz and SPBD. Encouraging to note previous events organized by the two entities here, the launch of the financial booklet, the Sisters in Business initiative, Quartz Mother's Day promotion, SPBD Business Woman of the Year Award, and where the two organizations have supported each other in achieving one common goal, and the goal is empowerment of women entrepreneurs and the promotion of women in SMEs, small to micro businesses. My suggestion here would be to have this very, very vigorously monitored. It's very important to monitor. It's very important to find gaps of why it's not working for some, or why it's working for some and not for some other. There could be various factors there, and we need to continually push forward, learn from the lessons. Whatever lessons have been learned, we need to work on that, because otherwise a lot of projects start with a good intent, but because we don't monitor it well, because we don't address the gaps well, we see it dying a natural death. We don't want this, and you've shown the success of this. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me say something about women. You know the reality of women in most underdeveloped nations that are struggling, and women are not treated fairly in terms of the labor market. We see men and women on a salary scale that is not balanced, right? So the bottom line here is we need to continually push for women's equality. That agenda of women being equal has to be pushed at all levels. And I'm sad to say that we have a long way to go. Fiji has a long way to go. No matter what we are doing, we still have to struggle with gender inequalities at the workplace. Anyway, look at that. Women make up a lot of farmers, they produce food, market vendors, etc. But we need to elevate that. We need to elevate their position and status in our society. And as a government, one way we are doing that is promoting women through all this, and the second is through education. If we educate our women and girls, the opportunities are all out there. It's a choice that the family has to make. Women and girls now have equal access to universities, equal access to scholarships, equal access to opportunities. It's high time, They went out there and grabbed the opportunities that is presented to you. And ladies and gentlemen, I think when you invest in a woman, I read it somewhere and I've said it many times, smart economics. It's very smart economics. Women are multifaceted. Throw anything at them, and they have that stamina, the resilience to actually carry that forward. All we need to do now is to ensure that our women are not domestically violated and abused and harassed, and domestic violence comes down. Unfortunately, domestic violence rates in Fiji is very high in the Pacific. While we are continuing to find out solutions, very soon we'll have the countries first, the regions first, right? The Pacific regions first national action plan, where we are talking to almost everybody at the ground level, from parents to faith-based organizations to the media, everybody to see how best we can find the real cause. You and I both know what the real cause of domestic violence is. It's the patriarchal views that we have, men up there, women up there. Unfortunately, we need to break that culture down, right? So while I wish the two organizations the very best in strengthening the relationship that you've had for years, giving concern and due attention to women and their needs, I would also like to again say to the media, we're finishing with Pinktober, but that doesn't mean that breast cancer doesn't stop. Awareness doesn't stop. Fiji loses a lot of women. Again, because we are talking about women, a lot of women lose their lives to breast cancer. So each one of us needs to take it down to the homes and to the families and the communities. We can save lives. Early detection saves lives. Simple as that. Don't see cancer as a killer. See it's something that we can battle, and we need to be there to support every woman to battle breast cancer or any other cancer. And since we have two bosses here, gentlemen, next month is November, where we're going to deal with men and prostate cancer. I'm sure we can partner in some way to create awareness. From 2015 till today, the level of awareness I have seen created by NGOs, the Cancer Society, the corporate bodies, the government has reached a level. And we see 200 to 300 women diagnosed with breast cancer every year in Fiji. But I think there are more out there. So the more we talk about it, the more awareness we'll create, and more men and women will find themselves at the doorsteps of the doctors. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you very much for the work that you do. And we may not meet again, so I'd like to wish everybody a very happy Diwali next year. Celebrate Diwali responsibly. Times are not as it used to be, but let us all be happy that we have a celebration coming ahead, which will take our minds off the lockdown and the other issues we had before that. So thank you very much, and
Thank you,
God
ma'am.
bless you.
God bless you. Thank you. Thank you.